this is the Digital Asset Investor, and today got away from me, and so I'm doing a video late. I'm going to start with this from Michael at VAL5 links. The chosen include Accenture, Euroclear, HSBC, Isness, Liquid Share, Prosper US, SEBA Bank, and Societe Generale Forge, which has previously studied CBDC for central bank. They're saying the Bank of France has chosen these 8 finalist firms for its digital currency CBDC experiments, now expected to imminently begin. Interesting stuff. X-Men XRP sent me this. MasterCard accelerates crypto card partner program, making it easier for consumers to hold and activate cryptocurrencies. WireX becomes the first native cryptocurrency platform to be granted principal membership license. And it was also sent from XRP Wizard from WireX. WireX becomes world's first crypto-native platform to secure MasterCard principal membership. Leading payments, WireX today announced their partnership with MasterCard as they become the first cryptocurrency, WireX's vision to bring cryptocurrency to the mainstream with the support of MasterCard. So are any of you out there wondering if this thing is going down? You shouldn't be. All right. SBIR3 Japan tweeted this out. Swiss regulated bank SEBA Bank plans to tokenize digital securities using Corda network. It seems that institutions' digital assets can be traded more safely and with liquidity. The total cost of ownership can be reduced. Now, earlier today, I was showing you this with Brad Garlinghouse and this guy, the guy from King and Spalding, right? Who used to work for, I can't remember the name of the department, but it was like the U.S. Department of Trade or something like that. Anyway, I always tell you that there are no coincidences like I did in my last video. Well, there's not. So when you see Brad Garlinghouse just happen to pop up with this guy, I looked back to see if Brad Garlinghouse had any other ties to this guy. Well, turns out that he does. Back on June 26th, he tweeted this out. Greer sums it up perfectly. The private sector is doing its part. It is incumbent on U.S. policymakers to do theirs. There's an entire industry ready to expand American innovation. We just need to know the rules. So as we know, Brad Garlinghouse, David Schwartz, Chris Larson, they've all been carrying the same torch about how the U.S. is getting behind China in the whole digital asset space. Well, he's retweeting this article back on June 26th from Jameson Greer, the same guy that he appeared in the interview with. So you can see how this is all kind of in a cadence. It reminds me of the cadence of this. Chris Giancarlo, XRP isn't a security, declares former CFTC chairman. And then at the bottom of the article, it says that, if I can get to it, it says, the article has been updated to clarify that Ripple Labs is a client of Giancarlo's law firm. So, see how this is going? Now, I don't normally talk about rumors, but I saw at least 4 or 5 tweets today saying that people are thinking that Ripple has some sort of announcement tomorrow. So I wanted to at least show it. Apparently Ripple's going to make an announcement tomorrow. I've heard this from multiple people. Then this, looking forward to the announcement on Tuesday. 7/21 is what this person meant. The countdown begins. Stay tuned. XRP movement is looking so bullish after 2 years of consolidation. I'm buying a heavy bag as they have some major announcements on 21st of July, tomorrow. And then this one said, apparently Ripple is supposed to drop huge news tomorrow that will positively affect the XRP price. I think that's all of the ones I pulled. I'm not sure about if there's any news or not. I haven't heard anything like that myself. But I saw it so many times that I thought I would show you at least that that's kind of what they're saying out there. Okay. Gold Telegraph. Countries are dumping U.S. treasuries at record speed. The signal is clear. Countries are afraid that inflation will erode the value of their treasury holdings. Many of these countries have remained net buyers of gold. When participants in the bond market grasped this, gold. Sorry, needed a sip there. All right, now the same thing. Gold Telegraph tweeted this out. Must watch. You need to see this. Watch this.
1923 was disastrous for Germany. In that year, the great German inflation reached its peak. For some time, the value of the mark had been dropping, and as the value of the notes decreased, so the amount of notes needed to buy things grew. Banks became more and more hard-pressed to meet the ever-increasing demand for paper money. For their customers, suitcases replaced wallets. To meet this crisis and pay the strikers in the Ruhr, the government simply printed more money. And as it lost its value, so it cost more and more to pay wages, to buy food. Hundreds of thousands. Millions, whatever figure was printed on the notes, really meant nothing. The German mark was worthless. As in a fearful dream, people's life savings were blown away like leaves in a gale. As Germany slid towards disaster, Gustav Stresemann was appointed chancellor.
I need to talk some in this video because they played music. I think it kills the copyright thing if I talk some. So
it was a time of crisis. The loss of production in the Ruhr was making inflation even worse, and Stresemann realized that the only way to help the economy back to normal was to call off resistance there and get production going again. The government also announced that Germany would resume the payment of reparations. It was the only possible way of getting the French out.
All right. I thought that might be an eye-opener. Okay, X-Men XRP sent me this. Standard Chartered to launch institutional crypto custody. This is one of the largest banks in the world, folks. Well, I thought that it might be important to show you a few other things about Standard Chartered. Because if a big bank like this is getting into crypto custody, you know what that means. They just so happen to be working with Ripple. This is a clip from back, Stephen Bull from the DApp. This is back from September 9th, 2018.
To jump to something which might be a slight curveball, but I saw that StanChart made a substantial investment in a cryptocurrency called Ripple. Do you want to tell us about that? Because there's so much confusion about the crypto world and what's happening, and how did you see that? And if you can contextualize that.
Yeah, the company in question is called Ripple, and Standard Chartered Bank decided to invest in it. It's a company that is looking at distributed ledger technology, blockchain. And of course, blockchain has a number of potential benefits for banks, especially when it comes to supply chain financing, trade financing, etc. And we felt that it was important to, have a seat at the table, be able to, participate in some of these emerging technologies. So, hence our investment in Ripple. And I think it's really given us a huge insight into, what that opportunity is and how we can leverage on it. Increasingly, what we're seeing is partnerships between banks and fintechs. So, for instance, when we invested in Ripple, in terms of the blockchain technology, that's one way of banks making sure that, we are ahead of the curve in terms of, partnering with the companies that are in those spaces. Standard Chartered has an outfit in Silicon Valley. We call it SC Studios, yes, which is also,
What is it, a VC or
it's an outfit that we have there where we can tap into some of the trends and some of the developments that are taking place in Silicon Valley, which might have an impact on us as a bank, so that we are ahead of the curve in terms of those strategic inflection points.
I love that phrase. So I'm going to.
Okay. And then there was also this, and this is from Jack the Rippler back on October 20th, 2018. For those of you that weren't around, there's a lot of interesting things happening around 2018.
I don't think so. There is a problem.
By the way, this guy is Gautam Jain, Standard Chartered Bank. He works for Standard Chartered.
Trying to solve. Look, anything is a problem till you figure out a better way of doing stuff, right? So we are looking at new value propositions rather than a specific problem which we need to solve. We live in a days of instant gratification. You won't wait 5 seconds for a web page to load. Why would you wait 3 days for a payment to settle? So let's go real time. The world is moving real time, so should payments and other forms of settlements. Well, we have had two use cases with Ripple. The first one was on trade finance, where we tried to solve the problem of duplicate invoice financing under the code name TradeSafe, in which we collaborated with DBS and IDA, the Singapore sovereign. The second use case is on cross-border payments. So we want to make cross-border payments real-time, instantaneous, with full transparency. So these are the two use cases we are working on. Well, if you're trying to innovate, you should do it with a fresh mindset. Business cases are so old. I mean, why would you need a business case to do something which is so exciting, so fantastic? So yes, you need to have a business case, but it should be more in terms of what value propositions are you going to bring to your clients, rather than how much money am I going to spend and how much money am I going to make. So we went with that mindset. So rather than hard numbers, we focused on our clients, we focused on the value proposition, and guess what? We just did it. The GPSE is a group of 6 banks. We have all come together to discuss the rule set, the standards, and the legal framework of Ripple payments. It is definitely a must-have, because we are entering into a brave new world, and we need some standards against which we all are going to work. So, extremely critical committee, extremely critical group, and once we set the standards and the legal frameworks, then off we go and implement Ripple throughout our network.
Okay, and so now I wanted to show you that Standard Chartered this is Ripple's website, is one of the investors in Ripple. And I wanted to also show you this, for those of you that have never seen it. Congrats. This is when Kahina Van Dyke left Ripple. And Brad Garlinghouse says, we're glad you'll only be a node on the network away over at Standard Chartered. So there you go. Now, out of curiosity, I decided I would go to Kahina Van Dyke's Twitter feed to see if she's tweeted out recently. And I saw something that I thought was curious, because words mean things. Of all the ways that she could say this, she said it this way: looking forward to joining this stellar global team, when referencing joining Standard Chartered. I've always said, folks, Stellar and Ripple are both in this game. She could have worded that 1,000 different ways, but she did not. She chose that word. Words mean things. I'm the digital asset investor. I'm not an investment advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. Please subscribe, hit the like button, and tell your friends and family that words mean things. Thank you for listening.